Welcome to Poznan and welcome to the final round of the EBaTCC BMW 325 Cup. We're in the final stages of tonight's qualifying session. Championship leader Žadeikis leads the session by just 16 thousandths of a second. His closest championship rival, Gubarevs, he is all the way down in 8th place. Just 12 points separate them at the top. Second place on the grid, provisionally at least, is Ungurs with Kirsch's in P3. I'm joined, as always, by Lodinas.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the final round of the 5th EBaTCC season. We are located in Poland, the Poznan circuit, a very interesting and fast track, which will be visited by the BaTCC Championship later this year in September, and we have a lot of drivers from the Real Racing Series participating in this championship, so they are warming up for the real races, but right now everyone is focused for the final runnings and the qualifying session. Sees quite a big competition as it was in the pre-qualifying round. Just look at the results, how tight it is in the grid, just 2,000 of a second separating the second, the third and the fourth places. So any tiniest mistake or any slightly better exit can give you not one, not two, but maybe even 5 places on the grid, and that's very important in races like these with the low-powered cars on equal machinery. You have to perform in the qualifying session, and that's so intense and so tight. You have to be the best of yourself, and of course be good at mathematics. You have to be a good strategist. You have to find clear track. We have 23 cars on board, so you have to find the right moment to enter the track and perform your lap.
Yep, there's you need to find clear space. You also need to try and get a nice tow from any car ahead. A lot of straights around this place, so a lot of opportunities to gain a lot of time down those straights. So we'll see times tumble once again, hopefully right towards the end of the session here. Svetin's on an outlap at the moment, but the whole grid super close by. The first time we see a gap bigger than 1/10 of a second is down in 9th place, but the gap's extremely close.
Yep, so Gubarevs is currently 9th, and Žadeikis on provisional pole position. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock. The fastest pre-qualifying lap was a 1 minute 49.9. I think it was a result by Svetin's. So yeah, Svetin's was the fastest in the pre-qualifying session, so we still have a little bit of time. Žadeikis just crossed the line and he didn't go faster, so did not go Ungurs, or did he go slightly faster? No, he didn't go any faster.
Actually, Žadeikis was just 8 thousandths of a second away from going quickest. That would have still put him on provisional pole for the time being, but he does have a 1 minute 50.320 on the board. He had a 3:28 last time round, but we'll see cars coming through the lap. Keep an eye out on Gubarevs. He's all the way down in 12th position, but 1/10 behind, so 1700ths behind the pole. It's not a lot, and the gaps are tiny. So 1700ths, and you're down in 12th.
I've never seen that. We really had tight battles in this championship, but we never had such a tight grid. 19th place is only 4/10 behind from the current pole lap, provisional pole lap, and way back on the grid. That's promising.
Up. We'll see a few cars crossing the line. Somebody improves, but we didn't quite notice who. So this is the driver we need to watch. Gubarevs is going to come across the line to finish his final lap in this qualifying session. Down to 13th now with other cars crossing the line as he's going to come across to
Nope. And
Not?
it's not an improvement at all, and he stays 13th. And that's not the result he came here chasing for. He was definitely faster during...
Žadeikis improved to 50.245. Straub doesn't, and it does look like Edvin Žadeikis, unless Jofert can do something.
Remember,
he's all the
Jofert
way
was...
down, yeah, he's all the way down in 17th, by the way.
Yeah.
But he's sitting 4th in the championship with just 3.8 tenths behind, so 38 hundredths. He might still be able to do something, and he's going to be the final car out on track. Maybe Dimskis as well is.
Yep, Dimskis seems to be behind.
Yeah.
No, he's in front actually, so Dimskis should be the first of the last 2 cars to cross the line and maybe see an improvement. And he's less than 4 tenths
on
behind.
An out lap. It does say that he's
no,
on an out
I think
lap.
that the information is incorrect down on the screen. I'm pretty sure Dimskis is on a flying lap. Not sure if he's gonna see an improvement. His current lap is 1 minute 50.6. He did a 1:50.3 in the pre-qualifying session. He didn't go faster. What about Jofert? Only 6,000 of a second separating Jofert and Dimskis. Jofert crossing the line. And did he go faster? I have to check my leaderboard. No, I think he stayed at the same
50.8. So 50.8 for him, and Edvin Žadeikis, against all odds, when he looked, I wouldn't say slow, but it looked difficult for him in pre-qualifying with just a 10th place finish. He got a lap together in the qualifying session with the largest success balanced on his car. Edvin Žadeikis takes pole position for race 1.
Yep, Ungurs will start beside him. Ungurs is currently 3rd in the championship standings. I believe he's 20-something points behind. Straupe will start 3rd, Graudinis 4th, and Julius Kiršis, one of the faster drivers from the pre-qualifying session, will meet the grid on the 5th place. Svetin 6th, Prego 7th, Sabutis 8th, Bielskus 9th, Kovalevskis 10th, Östlund 11th, Ozolinch 12th, Gubarevs 13th, Naumanenko 14th, Mickevičius 15th, Ozolinch 16th, Jofert 17th, Dimskis 18th, Narbutas 19th, Sirmais 20th, Šakalinis 21st, Mitkus 22nd, and Zavarskis 23rd, as we have the cars already standing on the grid preparing for the first race. And well, a very nice qualifying result for Edvin Žadeikis. He was really definitely struggling during the pre-qualifying session. The added weight, well, by the calculations of the driver, it's roughly 3 tenths per lap, because he did try to run the car around the track with no weight, and that was roughly his estimations. Not sure how that's correct or no, but it's definitely going to be...
by the way, the championship as well. So if the race would finish as it starts, which is not going to happen because we know what 325 I Cup cars are like, but in this case, Gubarevs would lose the chance to take the title, and Ungurs, well, he'd be in a very difficult spot because for him to win the title, Edvin Žadeikis would have to win. Ungurs would have to win the second race, and Edvin Žadeikis would have to finish 23rd, so second to last. So it would be a difficult scenario. So Edvin Žadeikis gunning for the win. That would pretty much guarantee him the title unless something crazy happens. Žadeikis and Ungurs on the front row of the grid. Closest championship challenger, Gubarevs, down in 13th. We'll see what he can do in this race. And for the penultimate time this season, we're off in the EBaTCC 325i Cup. It's good that we have a lot of time until we reach turn 1.
Is that Svetins on the grass? I think it was Svetins pushed to the very right side of the track by Graudinis, but he managed to stay on the racetrack. So far so good through the first corner, which is called Baba Jaga. Edvin Žadeikis leads the pack. He has the heaviest car I think he has a slight advantage of warming up those tires. Not sure if that's really doing a thing, but those lighter cars, they take a little bit longer to warm up those semi-slicks.
I think he'll still really struggle with the amount of weight. A lot of touching there in the, I'd call it mid-pack. Gubarevs down in 16th position. He's having a woeful time out here today, but Žadeikis already getting a gap up to 15th, 14th. Now for Gubarevs as they head down into the braking zone, there's a touch on that left-hand side for, I think that was Jofert being pushed onto the grass, so Gubarevs recovering positions, but he has to be aggressive here. He's going to be on the outside for the left, it's going to turn to the inside for the right, but not really pushing his nose in, so maybe not that comfortable. Now, as they head on to what I would call the back straight of this track, through the right-hander, the super fast right, and into the left, you're always feeling like you're carrying not enough speed through there. Everybody sliding around, crash up ahead. Gubarevs has to avoid that somehow. Somehow he does. Who was that?
Sabutis, I believe that was Sabutis.
Sabutis, yep, off the road. He's recovering down in 22nd spot. Now Gubarevs up to 13th. He's going to be on the outside as they go 3 wide into the final turn. Who's going to come out in front? Dimskis comes out in front in that little battle, but Bielskus is going to try and make a move on Gubarevs now. By the way, Edvin Žadeikis 0.8 of a second already in front of the field. Gubarevs fighting Bielskus down into turn 1. They're going to come in side by side, and to the outside is Gubarevs, and he's going to lose that place. Back down to 14th he goes. So championship hopes disappearing here in the final round for Gubarevs.
Well, I think he feels that, and he doesn't want to risk it too much. He knows that there's still plenty of laps and plenty of time ahead of this race, and since the cars are running in such tight gaps, I think Gubarevs just clipped Bielskus off the racetrack. That's going to be a situation for the race control to look at. But I think, well, when you push someone off the racetrack, you can already expect some attention from a race control and maybe get a penalty. So that was an action that Gubarevs should have avoided by any cost. And, well, and he's also a little bit further down the grid in the 13th position.
Gubarevs needs to go all out here. There's nothing for him to lose, really.
Right now, yeah, exactly. He needs to take those risks.
Because he knows that race 2, that has the opportunity to throw up some challenges for any of the drivers, and especially he's going to hope that it's going to throw up a challenge to Edvin Žadeikis. 10 seconds behind is Gubarevs from the lead of the race, and Edvin Žadeikis extending that gap incredibly up to 1.3 seconds. Straub would have to do something incredible to catch back up if he does indeed get past Ungurs here. 2 laps completed, and Edvin Žadeikis is still at the head of the field. To the outside goes Straub on Ungurs.
Oh, brakes a little bit too deep into the first corner. That's not gonna give him a successful overtake, but he should have a great exit. And right at the Devil's Smile, that's a very good opportunity for the drivers to make those pass maneuvers, and Ungurs knows that, and he already covers up the inside into the corner, but that's gonna slow both of the drivers down. Ungurs runs a little bit wide on the exit. Straub has a opportunity into the 4th and the 5th corners. He stays out, and Kiršis is right on the tail. He wants to join this battle as we approach the 6th corner, which is called the Small Pan. Straub with the fastest lap time. Kiršis, will he find the latest braking point? He's kind of going for a move and expecting for his rival to give him space. That's sort of what Straub has done. Still holding the position, and as soon as you...
Straub got scared there. He saw the car coming up the inside, and he froze and gave up too much space. He didn't really have to do that. It didn't look like Kiršis was overly confident in making that move to the inside. Maybe it was more of a scare tactic than an actual attempt at an overtake.
I think so. That's what...
And that lost both of them time because Straub off into the grass at least a little bit.
Yep, and
so if Ungurs loses that position, if Ungurs drops to 3rd or below, he loses any chance of getting the championship title if Žadeikis wins in race 1. So crucial for Ungurs to still stay there. Even if he does finish second, it would have to be Žadeikis finishing dead last for Ungurs to have any chance of a championship. Here we go again. Now it's Kirchis versus Straub, because Straub has a chance, because Kirchis now has a chance to get in front, and Straub actually gives up a lot of space on the inside, and looks like he's gonna just about hold on to the outside, but no, Kirchis in front. Off into the grass goes Straub. He tries to overtake on the grass. He's going to come back at Kirchis. So interesting. It looked like he didn't defend the inside down into turn 1, but now he's trying to come back. And he's done that almost successfully. Pushes Kirchis a little bit off into the grass, still touching. And it looks like they're maybe losing sight of Ungurs up in front just a little bit. Gubarevs up into 12.
Now Svetens right on the tail of Julius Kirchis. Svetens was the fastest driver in the pre-qualifying session. He knows how to be fast around this track located in Poland, so the drivers ahead have to watch out a little bit. As soon as you start battling, you lose plenty of time. Look at the gap that Žadeikis managed to extend already in those 7 minutes of racing action, and that's mostly because the drivers behind him are in constant battles, and the battles don't end. So, I don't know, if you were in a real car and you'd see the driver in front of you or behind you, you could kind of try to communicate with them, and you have to work together if you want to think about the win in this race and not battle on the beginning of the race, because that's how you lose the possibility to win races. So it's just that these drivers running in one line, they should start working together towards the end of this race and then try to battle it out. But it's already looking like a lost game in the battle for first place, unless something horribly will go wrong with Žadeikis. Straub again on the back end of Ungurs, and Svetens in the background. He tried to go around the outside and overtake Kirchis, taking two different lines. That's totally appropriate on the Poznan circuit, because it is very wide and the first corner is really long, so you can definitely take a couple of different lines into that corner, and you might have similar timings on your fast lap.
So still that battle raging on. It looks like they're maybe just locked into a little bit of a lull zone at the moment. 12 minutes to go in tonight's race. Žadeikis actually goes and sets the fastest lap of the race, all the way down in 19th. So
he's
hard.
up to 19th already. Remember, Žadeikis was the car that has spun on the first or the second lap, and he dropped to the dead last position. So he already gained 4 places back. Of course, he lost more than he wanted, but he still has a little bit of time to try and work his way through the grid, because it's really tight up to the 13th place. There's a big group of cars. Svetens off the track.
Completely off the track. That was without the help of anybody, by the way, as well. And he takes quite a long time to rejoin, so maybe some issue going on there. Gubarevs, by the way, up into 11th. Top 10 is the reverse grid for race 2. Probably his best chance here, best hope.
Exactly. If he finishes 10th, he'll start the second race from pole, and Žadeikis will start from P10. So still a little bit of a chance for Gubarevs to try and figure out something. I don't have the math in front of me, and I'm not sure if that's still gonna be possible. If Žadeikis wins the first one and Gubarevs finishes 10th, will he have theoretical chances?
Yes, if Žadeikis finishes dead last.
Yeah, so
that's the only possibility. Then Gubarevs will win it by a single point.
Okay, but it's still not over.
And I don't see Žadeikis finishing 23rd.
Why not? We always have issues. Oh,
I
someone
think one of his
tapped.
teammates would lift off and let him go, at least. I mean, if I was one of the team managers for the Dream to Drive team, or at least one of those liveried cars, I'd ask someone just to park the car.
Yeah.
and
if they have
connection.
if they have connection with each other during this race. But anyways, we still have to finish the first one, and we are creating scenarios a little bit too early maybe, because the race is still on, and Gubarevs, he has the chance to finish not 10th. He can finish 8th, I believe, because Ozolin is currently 8th.
And that was Chauffeur pushing Ozolins right off the road. And that's Gubarevs into the golden ticket of P10. So back within championship contention, just about. This is the first position that he can finish in to still have a chance in race 2. Still difficult, but I think he's going to try and push forward, get Jofert. If he can get Jofert, that opens up an opportunity into P7, really, because then the gap really opens up. By the way, we're talking about winning the championship. What do you get for winning the championship? Well, €100 prize for first, €60 for second, and €40 for third. And through our partners at KTK, a random driver that used the KTK skin will be picked for a test session of about 30 to 40 kilometers with a KTK Racing and BMW 325i Cup car.
And not only one random driver, there will be one random driver who will win those tests, and then there will be 3 fastest drivers who do not have racing license or have never raced race cars before. So the 3 top finishers from not real racing world will also enter the test. So there will be 4 drivers in total, and those 3, they don't have to race the KTK livery, they just have to finish in the highest places. And as far as I know, Žadeikis is definitely a racing driver in the real world. Not sure about the others like Ungurs or Gubarevs. So if they don't have a license, currently Ungurs and Gubarevs, they are looking to win the real tests with the KTK Racing Division 325 BMW car. Jofert is currently 4th, so I'm not familiar with...
Are you sure about this prize?
I've read about it. I've read about it, and I was also a little bit surprised, but I think I'm sure. We can ask about it, to not give false information, but basically that's what I've read, and well, that's what I know. If I'm mistaken, sorry, we will have to speak with KTK Racing Division to make it happen, if that's possible. Everything what I've told. Still a nice battle between Jofert, Gubarevs and Dimskis. So Gubarevs, he's currently 10th, Dimskis is right on the tail, and while Gubarevs will try to overtake Jofert, he is risking to lose the 10th place, and that might be a really awful situation.
This is a big battle. Jofert in 9th. He's trying to still hold on to that position. This is, by the way, front row for race 2 in 6 minutes time. Well, 6 minutes time we'll finish race 1. So Jofert holding on to 9th. Right behind him is Gubarevs. He's spun off. Gubarevs off the road. He's spun right off, and I think that is it for his championship hopes. Unless something crazy happens, I cannot see him winning the championship tonight. He needed a lot of luck, but I think this would just be pushing his luck a bit too much. By the way, that gap between Straub and Ungurs still at 0.5 a second. See if Straub can gain anything more this time round. He gained about a 10th on the last lap. Leaders crossing the start-finish line now. Lost 7 thousandths of a second in Straub, but getting the slipstream and getting help down the front straight of Poznan. As the fight continues on with 5 minutes to go. This is Dimskis getting attacked by Ostlund into turn 1. Not gonna happen. Dimskis holds on as he was a bit later on the brakes down into turn 1. By the way, Sabutis has dropped down to 22nd, but he still holds the fastest lap of a 1:50.319.
Sadly, there's no prize, and even not a single point for the fastest lap in the race.
Get respect, and that's the most important part.
Exactly, you get the biggest respect points, and well, at least you know that you could do it better if you didn't have issues at the very beginning of this race. I'm trying to figure out about the information. Where did that come from into my head? So I don't want to communicate false information for everyone, but I believe I definitely read about it somewhere. We will figure this out. And well, as the race continues, there are 3 minutes on the clock. Since we have already spoken about the prizes in this championship, be ready to meet even more interesting races on the World Sim Series platform on the second season. While Ostlund is trying to go around Gytis Dimskis into the first corner, this is a battle for the provisional pole position, so that's a really important moment in this race. Dimskis tries to hold on. He doesn't defend the inside, which was definitely a line that the driver had to take if he wanted to stay in front.
They're still tight between 3 and 4, but to the inside, that was Ostlund, and I think he's going to just about hold on, but nope, Dimskis comes back at him to the outside. Maybe will not be enough into this braking zone, but still tries. Might be able to do a switchback move here on the exit, but looks like Ostlund got that car slowed down just about enough, and Ostlund now up into that golden ticket of P10. That's going to be pole position for race number 2 in, well, I think race leader is going to start the final lap now. And Straub at 0.4 of a second behind Ungurs. I don't think that move's going to be made there for second place. It looks like Straub just had a bit more pace in the beginning, but then kind of lost it. Dimskis coming back at Jofert into the final turn. Dimskis on the inside, Jofert to the outside, and Jofert doesn't let Dimskis put his nose inside, but now it's going to be down into turn 1. Jofert to the inside.
Ostlund.
Ostlund on the big defense against Dimskis for P10. This is pole position for race 2 on the line. Ostlund and Bielskis, I think, will join into this battle soon. By the way, Gubarevs down in 18th spot. So Ostlund to the inside. Well, he was on the outside. Now it's going to turn to the inside again. Dimskis to the outside into the braking zone. They come for one final time into turn 3. And I think Ostlund's going to just about hold on to it. Yes, he does. And now Dimskis under pressure from Ostlund's behind.
And that's tight. So he's racing for pole position for the second race. That's really important. You would definitely want to start the second race from pole rather than P11. But now both of the drivers risk to lose these positions because Ozolins and Bielskis are right on the tail. Dimskis, will he make that move stick?
He's still trying, but just not enough. One more time, but he's going to stay to the outside. No, he didn't have that space, but he's got Ozolins now on his inside. They're pushing, banging doors. Into the left they come, and I think Dimskis is just about going to hold on, but no, Ozolins now back down to his inside. And Ozolins up into 11th, and they're still fighting with Dimskis, and I think they're both off the road. But Edvin Žadeikis finishes the race in P1 and just about almost guarantees himself the title for the EBaTCC season 2024. But Östlund is going to take
What happened?
P10.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because the race finished, and we just missed that. Yep. Östlund's in 11th, but he wasn't super happy about that, I think. Got stuck behind Dimskis, who was really fighting hard. Wow, a lot of action right at the end of this one. And it is going to be Östlund on pole position. Jofert will be alongside him. Östlund's with an H at the end, and not related to the other Östlund's, who's down in 11th. Svetens in 7th, 6th for Kovalevskis, 5th for Prego, Kirches in 4th, Straub in 3rd, Ungurs in 2nd, Žadeikis wins the race. That's your result, and Östlund Jofert, by the way, on pole for race 2. Östlund's just missed out in 11th, 12th for Mickiewicz, 13th for the hard-fighting Dimskis. Naumenko in 14th, Grudin is 15th, 16th for Mitkos, Gubarevs in 17th, and he's lost any chance of getting that title tonight. Zavarskis in 18th, Narbutas 19th, Sirmais 20th, 21st for Šakalinis, Bilskos in 22nd, and Sabutis down in 23rd. He did not finish the race. No, he's just finished. Okay. But down in 23rd position. Also a penalty of 1 minute 10 seconds. But fastest lap of the race for Sabutis.
Yep, so plenty of action in the first one. In the first race, a small break to catch the breath for the drivers as they prepare themselves to start the final race of this championship. Edvin Žadeikis, by winning the first race, and his main rivals, well, Gubarevs finished really low down the grid. Ungurs finished second, so maybe he still holds some theoretical chances to clinch the championship. But all Edvin Žadeikis needs to do now is just to try and finish this race without any accidents. Let's make a short break as we will get ourselves ready for the very final race of this championship. So back to the virtual Poznan track. We're still on a break. Roughly 1 minute remains till the drivers will find themselves gridding and preparing for the race, which will see the top 10 finishers of the first one in a reversed order. And well, as we had the break, I tried to look up after my information, and it seems it was a nice dream of myself. I couldn't find it anywhere. I really think I read it somewhere, but it looks like I've just made that out. So KTK Racing Division, one prize for one random driver. That's why we see a lot of KTK Racing Division liveries running in this championship. That's the main rule to win the tests in the real car. One random driver who never had racing experience will be chosen out by will be randomly chosen at the end of this championship, and he will have the very big fortune to test out what the real machinery feels like on a real racetrack. And I'm definitely sure that's one of the main prizes a lot of drivers gathered here, apart from the real nice racing action and experience, which you can build up pretty nicely while racing in a championship like this. The 5th EBaTCC season already, and we always had the BMWs racing as far as my memory goes, and we also had the Legends in the previous seasons, which seen quite some interesting battles on the racetrack. Let's try and find Ostlund on the racetrack. Oh, so he's at the very first position and not really hard to find. Ostlund will start the race from pole position and Joffert right beside him. There's gonna be plenty of action. Žadeikis will try to tiptoe to the finish line. It's gonna be interesting to see how he survive these huge battles with the heaviest car on the grid, 35 kilograms. They did not go into his way in the first race. Now he can find himself calm and relaxed and just enjoying those final 20 minutes of the 5th season on the World Sim Series platform. EBaTCC Championship sponsored by KTK Racing Division.
And for the final time this season, we're off, and it looks like Ostlund had a difficult getaway, but beautiful start from Ostlund, and he's going to try and push Joffert. He's trying to push into turn 1, and he's going to get past Ostlund, at least down into turn 1. Who's going to come out of turn 1 in the lead? It is Ostlund's now taking the lead. Ostlund down in 3rd. Svetin's up into 2nd. Joffert down in 9th.
10th?
Wow, so
9th,
Edvin Žadeikis into 8th place. He can be pretty much as aggressive as he wants. He only needs to finish 22nd on the night. Gubarevs down in 19th. Edvin Žadeikis to the outside, making moves on lap 1. He stays to the outside. He's going to be pushed off into the grass, but continues to floor it. And they still go 3 or 4 wide. Straub in 9th, Ostlund's in 10th. The other Ostlund's, because the other Ostlund's is leading the race. Not related. Oh, big push into the back of Edvin Žadeikis.
That's tight. That's how you win races. That's also how you lose them. Straub is running backwards, but there was a bigger crash in the background. That's Ungurs. That's Ungurs, the driver who.
Ungurs was
that's
on the roof. Straub was off the road, and everybody crashed right off. Gubarevs, 15th.
So much fun at the very first lap of the 2nd race, and well, Ungurs has just lost all the chances to win this championship, while Edvin Žadeikis still stays on the racetrack and is battling really hard his teammate Julius Kiršis, who was really fast in the first race, and he was also fast in the pre-qualifying session, so he's definitely fast in the 2nd race. He's now 6th.
Now we've got a battle on our hands, by the way, for 2nd place in the championship. So if it finishes like it is now, it's a battle between Gubarevs and Ungurs, by the way. So if it finishes like it is right now, Gubarevs would take 2nd in the championship by 1 single point.
Oh, but Gubarevs...
Oh, no, Gubarevs down into 16th. That would lose him the championship. He cannot finish in 16th if Ungurs is in 23rd. And Ungurs, if he overtakes, he's going to be gaining spots as well. So now they'd be tied with the championship as with the race as it is. Big push into the back of Östlund by Östlund. That's Joffert in 3rd. We saw him down in 10th, exiting turn 1.
There's his chance. There is his chance. Oh!
And that wasn't the chance I think we were talking about. He looked at it as a chance to hit the side of Östlund. Free wide into the braking zone. Who's going to be the latest on the brakes? Gubarevs drops out of that battle, says, no thank you, I don't want to be part of any of this because these two are crazy. Down into the left, and they're still touching. I think they're going to go off the road any second now. Žadeikis in 6th. He's trying to make a move there. He's coming up to... Oh, off the road. Even more cars off
another
the road.
car,
Another
yep.
car off the road. But he's going to try to rejoin. That's going to be tight. Oh, he takes somebody out. I don't... Oh, at the rejoin. I think he's going to take somebody out on the rejoin as well. Žadeikis up into 3rd. Wow. So
he survived. He was just driving straight and all the chaos was happening around him and there was nothing he could do, but he was just driving straight and it looks like he survived and he's up to 3rd and he wants to finish off this championship with a bang. He's right on the tail of Joffert. Östlund has a very big gap already against the second placed Östlund has a very big gap against the second place Joffert. Driver signalizing, and someone is definitely not happy using the horn to inform the drivers that they are around. Žadeikis tries to go into the inside. The cameraman went crazy. They don't know which battle to focus on, and it looks like Edmund Žadeikis up to 2nd, at least for now. He's in front of Joffert, tries to cover off him into the Devil's Smile corner. Brakes in front and holds on to that position that's tied behind him.
In the braking zone, he did the right thing there. He didn't need to defend. He was just super confident on the brakes, super late, and did a fantastic job to stay in 2nd. Did Žadeikis, well, overtake and stay in 2nd now. His goal, catch Östlund. I don't think it's mission impossible. He still can do it. 3.6 seconds, and we've seen how quick Žadeikis can be. I think he has a little bit of damage from a few of those incidents, but should be fine. Gubarevs in 10th, Ungurs in 19th. That's advantage Gubarevs at the moment by 2 points to lead this, to take 2nd place in the championship. That's your biggest battle on track.
Yeah, biggest battle for the final positions for the in the overall standings, but the battles on the racetrack in the 2nd race, they just exploded. The drivers remembered that they have gathered here to have fun and some real racing action. It looked a little bit calmer in the 1st race. Look at the 2nd one.
For Joffert, he'd be, if the race would finish like it is right now, he'd be 5 points behind in 2nd place in the championship. Ungurs getting closer because Ungurs up to P18. Now the gap 1 point.
Side by side into the 1st corner, Kirches tries to follow up his teammate. Maybe Joffert has some sort of a damage because he slowed down suddenly. He was a little bit faster, but now look at Kirches. He managed to make that move around the outside.
Beautiful. Carried a lot of speed. I guess he had quite good momentum. But yeah, to take someone around the outside like that, that's pretty impressive, I'd call it. So Kirches up into 3rd, and Joffert down into 4th position. That's his chances of taking a 2nd place in this championship kind of going away. By the way, Gubarevs and Ungurs now tied in terms of points for 2nd place. That's what I'm watching most. Joffert and Joffert and Mickiewicz, is it?
Yep, that's Joffert, Mickiewicz and Bielskus right behind these drivers, and Bielskus is trying to find a gap on the racetrack to fit in. And what place did Bielskus finish the 1st race? He was Oh, so he got a lot of penalties and he's counted as 22nd, but I think he finished 14th or 15th, like so. So now up to 5th, and he just involved himself in bigger battles. Contacts between the drivers. Graudinis was involved and he got hit heavily into his left side of the car, stays on the racetrack, tries to race further, but look at how much slower the BMWs become as they start battling, and the drivers on clear track, they just came chasing really fast. Now 3 wide in the first corner. That's Prego, Graudinis, and Ozolins. Graudinis into the back end of Prego, both of the cars off the racetrack. Yep.
Oh, very much off the racetrack. A little bit of a push also.
Gubarevs up to 8th.
On the press. Yep, Gubarevs up to 8th. We'll see what can...
Oh, Graudinis, unsafe rejoin. Definitely an unsafe rejoin, and Straub
just about got through, right? Ungurs up into 14th, and also Gubarevs up into 8th, and more battles. This is for 5th place. Straub drive-through for corner cutting. Yep.
He was collected by other drivers and still received a drive-through. That's definitely a big shame. All the drivers remain on the racetrack. Still, somehow, Žadeikis putting the fastest lap time of the race. He's still 3.5 seconds behind Ostlund. He doesn't need to win this second race. He would still win the final round overall, and that would make him not only the champion, but he would be the driver who won all the 4 rounds. He just needs to finish second in this race to hold on not only to the championship crown, but to the one and only winner in the 5th season of the EBaTCC championship. So he's having fun, trying to chase down.
He doesn't give up here. You know, he doesn't want to slow down because he can see what happens when you get into a big battle. Gubarevs to the inside of Jofert, down into the final turn. Doesn't happen here.
Zavarskis 9th, runs behind Gubarevs and Jofert, and he's just sitting quietly down in the 9th position, waiting patiently. Well, not waiting anymore because the gap between Jofert and Gubarevs just extended. He was hoping for the drivers in front to get involved into the bigger action and, well, try to win a couple of spots that way. But you have to go for a move. You definitely have to go for a move if you want to finish higher, and that's what Zavarskis is doing, braking really late into the Devil's Smile, and that's how you win positions. So he compromised the exit of his line, but he also covered up the line of Gubarevs, and Gubarevs, he kind of stayed out of trouble. Now Ozolins and Jofert, they are battling for P6. And Jofert is looking really racy. He was leading this race once. Now he's down into 7th, but he's not happy with the position and he tries to recover in this race so far. Yep, 10 minutes to go in this championship. Still plenty of action on the racetrack. It looks like the drivers kind of waked up.
Look at Ostlund. 1 minute 50.269. Wow. Great job by Ostlund to take the lead of, well, hold the lead of the race, and he's extending his gap to the championship leader, Žadeikis. So maybe just needed a bit of clear air, a bit less pressure, and I was saying it's not mission impossible. Oof, well, now it's advantage Ostlund.
Yep.
Jofert, this is Jofert versus Ozolins for P6. Gubarevs, by the way, dropped to 9th. That puts him out of 2nd place in the championship. To the inside goes Jofert, down into turn 1, and Gubarevs, I think, was side by side with Zavarskis there as well. Down into turn 1, they still are, these two pushing and banging doors. This is battle for P6. Right behind them, battle for P8. To the inside, they're still touching into the braking zone, almost off the road. Not gonna happen. Oh, more touching. I think this battle is gonna end one of 2 ways.
That's more incident points for race control to look at. race control is already getting wild, and he's already prepared to a sleepless night after this second race finishes, because
I can't believe we're just 10 minutes in, because that was Ozolin's.
Yep, he took
Žadeikis. Gubarevs up into 7th.
Yep, so he tried to stay out of trouble, and that's how you gain a couple of spots, just sitting tight and waiting out till these beautiful battles end up in different ways. Ozolin's
the problem for Gubarevs is that all of these places he gains because of other people crashing, Ungurs gains as well.
That's Narbutas and Ozolin's. Oh, Narbutas runs wide. Mitkos joins the party. Whenever you see BMWs running around this racetrack, you can definitely be sure that there are battles involved, and all of the drivers, they are not avoiding any riskier battles. They just want to carve their way through up into the higher positions.
Right off the road there. This is a battle for 9th.
I think Svetens was of the racetrack. He's dropping off a little bit.
To Ungurs.
Yep, so Ungurs battling for P10th. That's not gonna give you any advantage anymore. In the second race, Narbutas and Mitkos, I think that was the two drivers who touched doors, bang doors. Narbutas went sideways, but he managed to hold the car in his hands and not slide off the racetrack. That's Grodinis back into the battles, and I think he just clipped the back end of Narbutas again. So Narbutas, he just had quite a lot of contacts coming from his rivals, and Grodinis, he continues to punish the drivers all around him. Another contact between Ungurs and Šakalinis.
Šakalinis going side by side. Ungurs being aggressive. I'm not sure he needs to do that. He's in a pretty comfortable spot for second here in the championship. To the inside, they're still side by side. This is dangerous now for Ungurs, because we've seen how many times cars touch and one of them goes off the road, backs out of it. So does the smart thing. Ungurs doesn't need to take any risks, because he knows that Gubarevs is in 7th. He knows that Gubarevs is not quick enough to get more positions. No need to take crazy risks here. Mitkos drive through for corner cutting, and off the road goes Šakalinis, but now Ungurs up into P10. I think he's going to hold it into the final turn. Following in behind him is Svetens, and they don't touch, but that was pretty close to touching. Ungurs trying to defend the inside, and Šakalinis is going to go to the outside. Svetens all the way to the left on the outside.
Mitkos 10 seconds penalty for speeding. So
while swerving the drive-through, oh, Svetens deletes. Oh no, actually stayed on the road almost.
So Butis, another drive-through penalty. Well, this track has really tight runoffs. You cannot run too wide of the racetrack, otherwise you will get a warning, and after 3 warnings you get a drive-through. And as we see these tight, harsh battles, it's really difficult for the drivers to avoid those mistakes. 2.5 seconds between Ostlund and Žadeikis. So the gap is disappearing, but it's happening a little bit too slow for Edvin Žadeikis to take that win unless something happens.
Oh, more touching and more cars going off the road. Final race of the season. I guess they don't need to keep their cars clean anymore.
Yep, they are throwing everything at it.
All of these cars are going straight into the dump.
They have no shame for race control, because race control will have to look through all the incidents that happened through both of these races. And I'm not sure how many incidents the second race has, but I think it's more than 220 incidents per both races. And that's gonna be a manual job for race control after the race, to look through all the replays and make decisions. That's a big job. That's a long, long night ahead of the race control. Kovalevskis drive through for cutting. Kovalevskis is down in P18, and he'll find himself even lower as soon as he'll enter the pit lane for the drive-through at the very end of the second race. Pregon Narbutas into turn 1, and a couple of cars are still right on the tails of these two drivers. You cannot lose grip while running so tight, because then you risk to be taken out by the driver who runs right on your tail.
Still side by side, a bit further back. I think that was it? I think Gubarevs and Sabutis going side by side, right behind. Yep. Mitkus, drive-through taken. Okay. I was gonna say, did he receive another drive-through? But no, not just drive-through taken. Žadeikis still catching up to Ostlund. Catching up quite quickly, but it won't be enough time because Ostlund will start the final lap of the race in just a moment. 1 minute 40 to go in the 2024 edition of the EBaTCC. This is Ozolins on your screens. He's going to try and put up a fight against Svetens on the last lap. All of these drivers trying to eke out those final few positions. But I think it might just be enough now for Ungurs to take that second place in the championship, and he's going to just about do it ahead of Gubarevs, who had a very, very difficult race one, and that kind of lost him second place in the championship, still pushing. That's Narbutas and Prego still side by side through turn 1. Both of those cars, by the way, in mono-colored, so no livery, just colored. Interesting that they're both side by side. There's another car mono-colored right behind to the inside. Tries to go Narbutas, but Prego holds on. Another. And somebody went bowling. Somebody went bowling right behind.
Yeah, that's Sirmais who totally missed his break point.
I don't think it was Sirmais. He was quite far back. I think it was somebody else. Sure? I think he was a bit too far back to go.
That was Sabutis or Prego. You're right. Someone in the mono livery car.
Prego was in front. Prego was in front. I think it was
Sabutis. Yep. That makes...
there. By the way, we can jump over to Ostlund because he's going to be taking the final few turns in just a moment's time. 1.8 seconds ahead of Edvin Žadeikis, who's going to become champion of season 2024. But for the final race, it will be Ostlund taking the win in the 325i Cup. And the final race of the EBaTCC 2024, Edvin Žadeikis takes the title, and Kirchis takes P3 in race 2. And I think this secures Ungurs second in the championship. Gubarevs is going to have to settle for third. He had an incredibly difficult weekend today. But Edvin Žadeikis, your series champion for 2024. Ostlund, winner of the final race. And a beautiful drive by him as well. Edvin Žadeikis did take the fastest lap with a 1:52.29, but Ostlund actually had a 1:52.69. So, fantastic drive by Ostlund.
Yep, and that's it. The time flew by as we had races like these, and the final race really blew out in comparison to all of the season. I don't remember any races where we had this plenty of action. We definitely have had a lot of action on the racetrack, but this final race, it was just something out of this world, and Ostlund managed to hold on to the lead in the second race. Žadeikis well, he clinched the title, and his teammate Julius Giršis had a really successful race this time. He managed to finish third. So by the calculations of Gustas Grimbergas, Ungurs should take the second place in the overall standings, and Gubarevs should finish off the season at third, if there is going to be no penalties, by the way, because
provisional standings. Yes,
Yep.
provisional standings.
As the results
I think the only things that's not provisional is Edna Žadeikis. Well, it is provisional kind of, but we didn't see really him involved in anything.
Yeah, but you
Especially
never know.
race one, where he just won from the front of the field. So I think race one win will have secured him the title tonight. And Edna Žadeikis, still provisionally, but series champion and winning all of the rounds, by the way.
Yep. So this was the final race of the EBaTCC 5th season. This was also the last premium race of the first season on the World Sim Series platform, as the team prepares themselves for the second season of the year on the World Sim Series platform. And they promise us some big news, so definitely stay tuned and follow up with the social media of World Sim Series, and you can join the platform because it is expected to have big free races, not only premium ones, where there's gonna be some really good prizes offered on the table. So that's definitely the best time to join the racing action on this platform. So hop over to World Sim Series, register for an account if you don't have it. If you have doubts, this is the moment to change your mind and start racing. Thanks to BaTCC and special partner KTK Racing Division for this 5th season. 4 rounds in total have taken place. I think we are really safe to say that Edvinas Žadeikis definitely clinched the championship. He won all 4 rounds, and well, that's the way you do it. I hope you had fun, and thanks Gustas for staying with me. I'm wishing everyone a good night, and we'll see you in the next races.
Have a good night.